Hey, this is ThinkerThunker. Here we are at the Grand Canyon, of all places. And as the story goes, this footage was shot back in 1977 by a guy named Aaron Brady, who claimed he resisted releasing this footage for some 37 years because he felt it would interfere with his life. Now, I have to admit, first time I saw this, like a lot of the videos I review, my initial reaction was, give me a break, that's some clown goofing around on vacation. Now, I wouldn't dare declare that because that would put the burden of proof on me to prove that it's a hoax. And I can't do that. I can't prove this is a hoax, not by just looking at this video. And neither can anybody else in the world. They might want it to be a hoax. They might think it's a hoax, but those are just opinions. I also can't prove that it's a Bigfoot, but then I'm not trying to do that. So for now, let's just lean towards this being a hoax. First off, how do you think they did? I guess right off the bat, you have to give them an A+ for going to all of the trouble of going all the way out to the Grand Canyon. But why the Grand Canyon? Is that a known hotspot for Bigfoot activity? No, it's not. They might as well have shot a Bigfoot shopping in their local mall because that's about as believable as filming a Bigfoot sightseeing on the rim of the Grand Canyon. And even if the hoaxers lived just down the road, still, they'd been better off using some woods out behind the local Toot and Totem than the Grand Canyon. So, for location alone, I have to give this hoax, if it's a hoax, an F. And next, what's with this run? He looks like Quasimodo. Is that a known trait for Bigfoots, to run off like that, all bent over? I mean, look at him. He's practically in a seated position. So for this goofy, unbelievable run, I have to give him an F for that as well. I mean, why would they use that run? Who in the world runs like that, all bent over? Now, Patty here, we see her leaning, which is similar. Too bad we didn't see her run, but still, she's nowhere near bent over as far as this guy. Now, here's Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man, and we see his back, straight as a board, no leaning. But then when he takes off, we see them all bent over, which is kind of odd. You mean to tell me that our hoaxer here is a sprinter and he's so used to taking off like he's on the starting blocks that he couldn't even help but start off like that, even though he was trying to pull off a Bigfoot hoax? So now you have to ask yourself, why would they go to all of this trouble to film a hoax that they were going to release 37 years later? Why would they film it in such an unlikely location with him running in such a ridiculous way? Why? And maybe even a better question, who's stupid enough to wear a bulky suit and sprint around over rocks on the rim of the Grand Canyon with a furry mask on? Remember Halloween mask? Remember how hard it is to see out of those little eye holes? Now, try wearing one doing this. Would you risk that? And even if you would, again, why waste that risk using that ridiculous run in such an unlikely spot? Now, I will say this. I remember years ago, I was looking through all the different names Native Americans have for Bigfoot. And I found some great names like Wild Man of the Woods, Big Man with a little hat, which I thought was kind of funny. I guess the pointed head looked like a little hat to them. Then there's the Trickster, Boss of the Woods, I like that one. One who runs and hides, kind of appropriate here. Evil God of the Woods, Spirit hidden by the woods, which is pretty cool. It implies magic. And probably the craziest of them all was something like Big Men who lean when they run. And I remember thinking, what? Lean when they run? You know, what does that even mean? And what a weird and funny thing to name something or someone. Now, I've searched high and low for that and can't find where I even found that, which tells me it's not that common. And please, if you know which tribe that was or have any more information about that, please post a link down below. I'd love to read more about that because at that time, I thought it was just crazy. Who leans when they run? Is there even any advantage to that? Well, I won't go into it all but search the term chi running. And its theory is, yes, there is an advantage to leaning from the ankles when you run. And that's, you've got gravity itself pressing down on your back, propelling you forward. And all you have to do is keep your feet churning and keep from falling over. So, is that the case? Do the big furry giants lean when they run? Is that what we're seeing here? Or is it a really bad hoax? And if it is a hoax, who out there is going to be able to prove that it is? Nobody. But if it is your opinion that it is a hoax, here's a little test you can try. Get up, go outside, lean over to the point that your hands are down by your knees, like his are, then take off sprinting. And I don't mean just lumbering like a zombie. I mean really digging in like him with your knees churning up into your chest. And if you think you can do it, film it, post it, and let us be the judge of if you bent over far enough and were digging in fast and hard enough. And if you really want to stand behind your claim, put on a monkey suit and a mask and sprint like this over rocks and stuff where you might fall. You don't even have to go to the Grand Canyon to do it. Any dangerous place will do. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you. There is something extremely bizarre about this guy. But first, let me ask you, do you believe that when somebody puts on a costume, a monkey suit, that it magically can make their arms longer? No, of course you don't. You have a brain. But there are those who do. So let me show you. That is clearly a foot. And now if I go forward a few frames, right there, now we see his leg looks to be fully extended. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copy of his arm, which looks to be fully extended, and turn it to the same angle as his leg. Now I'm going to bring that arm down for comparison's sake. And so here we've got the top of his shoulder lined up with approximately the top of his leg. And you can see for yourself, that is one insanely long and big arm. Now here's where skeptics would say, well, that's easy enough to explain. This monkey suit happened to come with arm extensions. Of course, we've never seen these arm extensions, but anyway, let's explore that. I'm going to go back a few frames here, and I know this is blurry and fuzzy, but I've seen humans before. I happen to know that that is a head, and here is a torso, and that would make his shoulder be about right there, and that would make an elbow be about right there. So watch this. That arm is bending right in the center. Now, an arm extension, first off, there is no such thing as an arm extension. You can't put something on your arm and make the whole arm longer. You can only make the forearm longer. And if this guy had on a forearm extension, the arm wouldn't be bending right in the center. So I'm not saying that that proves this is a Bigfoot, but I'm saying that makes this some, whatever this is, extremely rare footage, because whoever or whatever this is, if it is a human, it's one of the only humans ever whose arms were almost as long as his legs. So there you go. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What in the world are we seeing here? And can you do that run? All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sharing my clips. Thank you so much for the support. And if you want more videos, please subscribe. All right. Take care, guys.